Typhoon Maricot has hit a new rainfall record in southern Taiwan. It causes the worst flooding disaster in 50 years. Severe landslides and debris flow at the upstream catchment areas have greatly lowered the capability for the water resource conservation and water supply capacity of reservoirs. There are over 5,000 households having water outage in Tainan, Kaohsiung, Pingtung area. It's really chaos. Comparing 88 flood of the year with the landscape of lakes, it is a huge comparison, hoping that the history won't repeat itself again. Sangwan Reservoir originally encountered the biggest drought in 7 years, and all of a sudden the rainfall exceeded reservoir's capacity. In 2010, the Bill of Regulation of Zhenwan, Nanhua, and Wushuantou reservoirs and stabilization of water supply in southern Taiwan was submitted and has been implemented. There are 4 objectives and delegation of duties. 1. Reservoir catchment, area conservation and regulation. Reservoir facility renewal and improvement with siltation management. 3. Upgrade of dispatch and backup water supply systems. 4. Development of new water sources. Isn't water surface bucket grabbing operation behind me one part of stabilization of water supply in southern Taiwan? Yes, this operation is the important work for reservoir disposition cleaning. Since I have come to Sangwan Reservoir, I am going to forefront of the engineering to understand which important programs have been conducted by South Region Water Resource Office. Raw water of reservoir comes from upstream watershed. If soil and water conservation hasn't done well, the sediment deposition of downstream reservoir would also be affected. Long-term solution is enhancing land use management and disasters prevention monitoring and coordinating with measures like hillside governance and collapse treatment, etc. to reduce the rock collapse of watershed and lower sediment content of water that flow into reservoir. The control of non-deposition check dam could reduce sediment carried by raw water to slow the deposition rate of reservoir down. These common senses are also included in the environmental education course of Reservoir Region through the course of the Reservoir Operation and Management after Maricot, letting visitors understand Sangwan Reservoir's deposition status and reservoir managing profiles from year to year to promote Southern people's approval to the concept of treasuring water resource. The circle of nature is continuous. Even watershed conservation has done well. There are still some driftwood and deadwood mix in the water and flow to the bottom and water inlet of reservoir. This year, wood blocking facility has been set up at the location before the main stream of Sangwan River enters the reservoir region for interception to reduce dead wood cleaning time and operation costs of reservoir region. Permanent River Outlet Reconstructing and Silt Preventing Engineering, PRO, Improvement Engineering for short, including tunnel engineering, excavation of the lock chamber, hydraulic machinery, and the installation of high-pressure jet valve. Behind me is top of lock chamber that uses to control water discharge. It was just excavated from the ventilation tunnel this year and locates right above the lock chamber. Excavating down to the lock chamber to install jet flow gate after special engineering like pre-stressed ground anchor, steel mold, and 5,000 psi tunneling, etc., and conduct expanding excavation and reconstructing engineering of existing lock chamber in the kit room and rock mass. It also awarded the Laurel of 2013 Golden Quality Award. After completing, it may improve reservoir's water discharge, adjustment, and draining sand function, and increase the ongoing operating reliability of the electric power plant of Sangwan Reservoir. Jet flow gate that controls water discharge has been successfully shipped to Taiwan from America and is about to put at the working storage section aside. It's our pleasure to have the responsible person of this engineering, Director Shu. Jet valve cost $0.2 billion and accounted for 40% of the engineering cost. The jet flow gate was built in the United States. In order to ensure the quality, 3 professional personnel from our office went to the manufacturer for inspections. The jet flow gate must meet all the criteria, such as density and pressure resistance, before shipping to Taiwan. Mr. Shu just mentioned the how-to detailed procedures there are, and the representative of manufacturer also arrived here to oversee the installation.
Welcome to Tainan, Sam. Would you tell us the advantage of the jet flow gate?
Thank you. These are the two largest jet flow gate valves that have been built in North America. Special purpose for a jet flow gate is primarily all of the interior surfaces are fully machined with bronze and stainless steel. And the purpose is so the valve can throttle the flow of water, which controls the level of the dam and discharges water downstream.
After completing the PRO construction, the draining sand amount could reach to 566,000 cubic meters per year. Sediment amount will be a great help for reducing the deposition of reservoir. The trash rack of permanent river inlet has extended from original 191.2 meters to 234.5 meters and has maintained the normal operation of water tacking, leaning tower by diversifying mechanical equipment to keep the stability of water supply. Tsangwan Reservoir didn't design draining sand tunnel originally. Therefore, the sediment that carried by torrential rain couldn't drain successfully. This engineering has newly constructed a silt-preventing tunnel engineering that is 9 meters in diameter and 1,235 meters in overall length. After completing, the draining sand amount could reach to 1 million cubic meters, and it could effectively slow the reservoir's deposition down and drain the sand back to the river to slow downstream river channel scour down and supplement the sand source of the coast. Utilizing siphon principle, the silt-preventing tunnel transports sediment that carried by typhoon and flood from silt-preventing tunnel to downstream Tsangwan River. The water inlet of future silt-preventing tunnel is right below me at present. The newly constructed silt-preventing tunnel would affect the traffic of existing Lake Round Road. Therefore, we will build Lake Round Tunnel for a permanent road use and add different appearance for reservoir tourism also. The most difference between a tunnel and an anti-silt tunnel is that the anti-silt tunnel is going through the bottom of the reservoir. It's very difficult to drill the intake. It's in about 50 to 60 meter depth below the water. Therefore, the intake is the biggest challenge of the anti-silt tunnel project. The flux at the end of the anti-silt tunnel is expected to be big, so an energy dissipation pool is designed. And building the pool is like excavating 4 basketball courts inside the mountain. The pipelines between reservoir and water treatment plant should be renewed and improved also to promote the backup supporting ability to dispatch from different water supply regions under emergency circumstances. During the period of special regulation, the vestibular disposition cleaning engineering will pump about 1.33 million tons of mud out and clean about 90,000 tons of mud and deadwood by grab bucket. The vestibular deposition cleaning engineering of Tsangwan Reservoir's water take leaning tower mainly employs mud pump method and salvage with bucket grab. While flood season, transporting these mud to river mouth to supplement the sand source by the opportunity of flood drainage. Mud pumping operation platform employs powerful motor to pump mud in the reservoir. It would pass through the mud transporting hose pipes and then through mud transporting steel tubes and pipelines under the pontoons to transport all the mud that has been pumped out to the coast. On the aspect of valuation, it is surveyed by instrument, flow meter, and concentration meter. We hope reservoirs in Taiwan that are in operation could use this method to conduct reservoir deposition cleaning. If there is no problem to carry out by this way, agriculture is the important lifeblood of southern Taiwan. Moreover, Qinan Plain is important grain area of Taiwan. The serial connected employment of Tsangwan and Usantou Reservoir supplies the first and the second crop rice and sugarcane, the miscellaneous grain in spring and winter. It needs about 0.7 billion tons of irrigation water per year. Combining the utilization with Husanto Reservoir, the irrigation water is deployed by Tsangwan Reservoir according to water right during the irrigation period, making the whole extension Qinan Plain able to be distributed enough amount of irrigation water by hundreds of water controlling personnel to precisely adjust the water of each irrigation through north-south arteries and water supply system. This water restriction gate opens at ordinary times. Its most important function is draining water away. But we could close the water restriction gate during irrigation period and collect superfluous irrigation water nearby to irrigate next farmland region so that we could reuse the water source again. Water in here is distributed from Husanto Reservoir. The staff would directly control the water gate to open the water restriction gate and then send to little supply routes beside the water routes. The main water source of Kaohsiung district comes from Kaoping Weir at present, but the water storage of Kaoping Weir is not enough to cope with the water supply during dry season. We need to develop underground water and underflow water as backup water source. Therefore, we have planned to set facility at the coast of Kaoping River to take underflow water beside the river and use it as the backup system. The government has enhanced the patrol, management, and renewing and improving engineering of reservoir from the source of water to make sure that the fresh water comes from the sky could be used effectively. Moreover, ensuring steady water supply of southern region by precautions, active actions like the lifetime extension measure, reservoir silt prevention, combination utilization and dispatch of water resource, and new water resource development, etc. However, water resources are limited. Therefore, the only way to save the water and develop the resource to continuously use the water resources. Personally entering into the main engineering area of stabilizing Southern Water Supply Program made me deeply realize the attentiveness of South Region water resources. Therefore, the saving and employment of every drop is truly important. This is our indispensable responsibility. We want to build a reassuring environment of agriculture cultivation, a reassuring environment of industry development, and an environment that has safe domestic water. Let's strive for it together.